Welcome to Strip Talking, a podcast from stripwalking.com.
I don't understand this Whopper situation.
I did not eat tuna in college, despite my best efforts.
A branch of the Branch Davidians, David Cornish.
It's what brings fun to Vegas, math.
Usually that's one of the things that really comes naturally to you is insulting me.
All right, Geoff, you're the podcast expert.
Spider pig, spider pig.
Nobody's going to care. Mom's not going to care. She's glad I'm hydrating.
Don't put words in his mouth. Put Monster Burgers in his mouth.
We can still be friends.
I don't think so.
I don't know that I'll respect you as much.
I don't know that we can respect him at all.
Take your ketchup meat back.
In this episode, Jay recaps his Hawaiian Thanksgiving, Mike makes another trip to Orlando, Geoff puts sticky toffee pudding in the Food Hall of Fame, the guys remember the Guitar Hero and Rock Band video games, and Mike talks way too much.
Here are your hosts, and maybe.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Strip Talking Podcast, brought to you by stripwalking.com. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jay. As you know, I've got Geoff with the G here tonight, and Mike, of course. Mike, how is your holiday shopping going?
What does guaranteed mean to you, Jay?
Guarantee. That means, I suppose it's synonymous with promise. Something will happen or won't happen.
So if Amazon guarantees you delivery on a certain date, what would you expect?
I would expect it to show up on or before that date.
And what happens if it doesn't?
Well, I happen to work for a retail company, so I know exactly what happens if it doesn't.
Do you guarantee delivery?
We are vague in our verbiage, yes.
Well, that's fine.
This time of year.
Have you ever looked at your Amazon confirmation email?
No. I have one here that I just probably got a couple days ago. Let me look at it.
The wording is guaranteed.
Checking.
Well, while Jay is reading that, I do have to admit that I work for that very same company that Jay works for as well, and the verbiage is very vague at this time of year.
You both work for OnlyFans?
Have since, when did it start out?
I wouldn't know. Never been on it.
Me either.
I prefer Ashley Madison. So I ordered something. It was guaranteed. I think it was December 6th. December 7th. It's not there. It's not a huge deal other than the email says it's guaranteed. So I chat with the Amazon guy just because I can't let it go. And the guy's like, well, we can't control the shipping and that, that's just a guideline, that date and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't think you know what guaranteed means.
I just confirmed in an email. Yes, guaranteed. Your order will arrive. That's pretty straightforward.
I feel like there should be some automatic, like the old Domino's 30 minutes or your pizza's free. I shouldn't have to complain and I don't even think chatting this guy would be enough if I hadn't raised a big enough stink. I did finally get maybe 20% back off my order, which was $20 or something.
But didn't Domino's have to quit doing the 30 minutes or less thing because they were killing people or something?
They were killing people?
Well, they're drivers. Going too fast, running stop signs, that sort of thing.
I don't know. That was in the 80s, wasn't it? It was a long time ago.
And he didn't even have Google Maps back then. That was a high-pressure situation.
When I for one summer, worked at Pizza Hut delivery. When I first started, I was nervous as hell trying to find places. I mean, it was pretty, like you said, no Google Maps apps or anything.
Right.
And I was so laser focused on reading house numbers and street signs. One of my first deliveries, I was going down the street and the house was on the left and I pulled into the driveway right in front of somebody coming at me. Didn't see him at all. And he slammed on his brakes and screeched his tires and cursed me out. And probably lucky he didn't T-bone me.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I'm sure you had to get weird addresses like Johnson Lane or something. Like, where the fuck's Johnson Lane?
Right. So there was a map that we could look at before we left.
Like up on the wall?
Yeah. I think it was on the wall.
The good old days. But I feel like streets were different back then. Like, streets were straight.
It's the same streets.
Some of them. But now everything's all curvy and fancy.
Well, the large majority of deliveries were on the street. 13th Street and 29th Avenue or whatever. And you'd figure out some of the major weird street names. But every once in a while, you'd get one that you had no clue where it was.
Had to go to the map. Go to the wall map.
I don't recall getting anything too sketchy as you're driving in, but maybe I was too naive then to realize it.
Right.
Never got any naked women opening any doors or cougars or anything.
No, I feel like that happens less often than the internet would make us believe.
Yeah. OnlyFans would have you believe. One thing that I've always hung on to, though, and it may not be the same anymore. We always got the full delivery charge. I always say the delivery charge doesn't go to the drivers. We got the entire delivery charge plus the tips. It was pretty good money at the time. Plus, they paid us full minimum wage. They didn't pay us a reduced rate because we got tips.
Sure. Yeah, like most tip earners would. That's interesting.
So I always look skeptically at those places, the pizza places and stuff that say the driver doesn't get the delivery fee. So you're supposed to tip them on top of that.
Yeah. Anymore. 20 years maybe has changed the corporate outlook on that, though, too.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Notice I said 20 and not 25, which is probably more accurate.
But yeah, anyway, the Amazon guaranteed delivery is total bullshit. I mean, he's arguing with me that guaranteed doesn't mean it's going to arrive on that day. I've noticed they do this a lot now. They'll wait till like the day before it's supposed to get there and they'll ship it overnight, which is what they did here. But it got delayed by UPS, which they can't control. But it wasn't like a 1 day delay. It ended up like 3 or 4 days later on the 1 day shipping service.
Yeah, that's BS.
I think it said weather delay or something, which somehow there was weather issues from Memphis to Omaha that I didn't hear about. Also bullshit. Oh, and it was part of a larger order, not shipped in the same box, but shipped at the same time, and the rest of it arrived on time. So that's
interesting.
Also points to the weather delay being total bullshit.
I'm notorious for not receiving Amazon orders that I have placed. I bet it's happened to me 4 or 5 times where I've placed an order and I've never gotten it.
Somebody steal it?
I don't know. It's happened multiple times to the point where now I don't even have it delivered to my home address. I have it delivered to my work address because it would never show up.
Sounds like you forgot to place the order and thought you did.
No, I had tracking. Actually, on 2 of them, I had tracking updates that showed it was delivered to my house, and they never showed up. It was never there.
Somebody stole it.
Yeah.
I don't know who would steal a small package like that. It's not like it was even worth stealing.
They don't know what's in it. Could be a cell phone.
Could be a gold bar.
Could be a health pack from a video game.
Could be a USB drive with 10,000 Bitcoin on it.
True.
Could be a diamond-encrusted dildo.
More something to look at than functional, probably, but yeah.
I don't know. Isn't that the same purpose of studded condoms?
I think that would look pretty good on your OnlyFans page.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Google it. Look it up.
Google it.
While you're doing that, we'll move on to your Hawaiian Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes, themed Thanksgiving. This year was no exception. It was fantastic as always. So if you remember from last time we talked, my house does some sort of Thanksgiving theme every year.
I remember you were not doing Long John Silver's.
That is correct. Nope, that was listed as a potential option and rejected.
Rejected or vetoed by you.
Much like being a Titans fan, there's always next year.
Why do you got to bring the Titans into this?
Because the Chiefs are 11-1, baby. Actually, no, it's 12-1 now. The last game
They're
you could-
statistically like the worst 12-1 team in history.
Depends on what metrics you go by.
Any metric.
But the metric that matters most to get into the playoffs is the 12-1 part. So we're going to go by that one. Yeah, haters going to hate. But anyway, the Titans will have their year. Anyway, back to Hawaiian Thanksgiving, which was our theme this year. We've had Chinese Thanksgiving. We've had breakfast Thanksgiving.
You're telling me you haven't done Hawaiian Thanksgiving already?
No, we have not.
Seems like the most obvious one to do.
I don't know, but okay. Yeah. No, we've always had a better idea, I guess.
Let's run them down. How many have you had so far?
Oh, I should have been keeping a list. I could go back on my notes probably.
You don't have a list?
Oh, in my brain somewhere. So let me think. What have we had? We've had Chinese Thanksgiving. I think that was the first.
That sounds pretty racist.
No, not at all. Turkey fried rice, dumplings, things like that. Very delicious.
That was the first one?
Steamed buns. Yeah. Chinese Thanksgiving. We had breakfast Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So,
Cereal. Pop-Tarts.
turkey flavored Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts and peanut butter Captain Crunch.
Breakfast Thanksgiving. We had Smokehouse Thanksgiving where everything was off the smoker. We had Mexican Thanksgiving, of course.
Are these in order?
No. I remember Chinese being the first, but...
So like 2 out of 5 so far are racist.
No. Ethnicity and racism are two different things. Mexican Thanksgiving, that was kind of a hit.
Polish Thanksgiving.
We had... Okay, you'll like this one. We had leftover Thanksgiving. So we literally cooked the entire Thanksgiving meal the day before, put it in the fridge, and then just ate leftovers. Because leftovers from Thanksgiving, it's the best part of Thanksgiving.
It's the second best idea you've had behind Long John Silver's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that one was a hit.
Turkey leftovers are really, really good.
Really good. And then I think we did a soup Thanksgiving one year where we just made soups out of everything. Not my best work.
That's awful.
Yeah, because that's pretty much what leftover Thanksgiving was too. That's all that I remember. And then this year Hawaiian, of course.
Okay, so now tell Geoff what you had on the menu for Hawaiian Thanksgiving.
We try to do traditional Thanksgiving flavors with a unique spin, right?
So Pop-Tarts.
You could make like a cranberry turnover sort of thing and call it a Pop-Tart. That's kind of what a Pop-Tart's based on.
Or you could just buy Pop-Tarts.
Do they sell cranberry flavored Pop-Tarts? I don't eat Pop-Tarts, but I bet I haven't had a Pop-Tart in 20 years.
I think we just found the next food you're going to enjoy for the podcast.
They have to be the most unhealthy thing.
More unhealthy than Long John Silver's?
Oh, no, I also don't eat that. But Hawaiian Thanksgiving. So while this maybe isn't a traditional Chinese flavor, we did do like a kalua pig, right? We didn't dig a hole and bury a pig, but we did that kind of roast pig that's super famous or super popular in Hawaii.
It's a luau, yes.
Yeah, luau type pig, We didn't do a whole one, of course, but which would have been awesome. I think I could get a whole one done in my backyard if I dig up my wife's garden box.
Highly recommend.
If you did a whole one, would shooting it in the head be part of the festivities?
Well, it has to cook for a long time. So if you wanted the slaughtering of the animal to be part of the festivities, you'd have to do like a 3-day event, which could be done.
Yeah, that sounds kind of fun.
There's football on Thanksgiving, but not the days before. You could watch old games or something.
I think there's games on the days before, isn't there? Maction or something.
Maybe. Anyway, we'll come back to the whole pig some other day. I got to till up the wife's garden bed in the spring anyway. Why not just dig a hole in the fall? I don't know.
I don't see. Was that vetoed by somebody?
Well, I just didn't feel like doing a whole pig was probably the right idea for, 6 people, 7 people that we had at my house.
Seems like that could lead into leftover Christmas.
That's true. But then back to traditional Thanksgiving flavors, we had turkey, but there's a Hawaiian sauce that's called huli huli sauce. It's almost like teriyaki, like sweet teriyaki. But we had huli huli turkey. We did some musubi, which is like the rice wrapped in seaweed. Usually has Spam on it, but we also did turkey. We did poke, which is, raw tuna with some seasonings and stuff on it.
Gambler Trey does not approve.
He did not approve of putting poke on top of deviled eggs.
I don't approve of it at all.
It was delicious. And then probably my favorite punny dish that we had was, you've heard of poi, which is some kind of taro root, I think, that they squish up. It kind of is disgusting. It doesn't taste like much. But so we made poi potatoes for Thanksgiving, which were just potatoes that we called potatoes because we didn't have any taro roots. But that pretty much does it.
Because you couldn't get taro roots, or you didn't plan far enough in advance?
I didn't try real hard. I'm sure you could get them off Amazon or something, but delivery's not guaranteed. So.
That's right. I was thinking the same thing. So I just from my perspective, the poke deviled eggs would probably have been one of the things I would have enjoyed. I do like poke. The turkey prepared the way you said, the huli huli turkey, you said?
Huli sauce, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good too. So did it lend well still to a leftover turkey day the next day?
Yeah, I would say so. We had about the same amount of leftovers that we would normally have. Pretty much ate that the rest of the week.
I do think that sounds like an acceptable theme, I would say, with what you did with it.
We'll keep Long John Silver's Thanksgiving on the list for next year. keep a running list. And
I feel like you're just mocking us at this point.
A little bit. But we also did a friend's Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving after that one guy that was on Friends died. What's his name?
Oh, Matthew Perry?
Yeah. After Matthew Perry died, we did a Friends Thanksgiving where we cooked dishes that they had in the show Friends. I'm not a super big Friends fan, but my wife is, so I don't remember what it all was. But
so who made the English trifle with hamburger in it?
Yeah. We did make that. That's apparently a very famous thing from the show because everybody that I bring this up to asked me that exact same question. And we did make it. We did make a trifle, yes. What did
you do for Thanksgiving, Geoff?
I didn't really do anything. Actually, I was responsible for making most of the Thanksgiving meal this year. Made homemade stuffing, made green bean casserole.
Well, that sounds like doing something.
A ham. I did not do the turkey. I was scared to do the turkey. We did candied yams, mashed potatoes. The only disappointment that I had with it was I tried to, on the next day, recreate the Earl of Sandwich holiday turkey sandwich with turkey and dressing and cranberry sauce and gravy. And it just made me miss Earl of Sandwich even more. So, because it was... The flavors were pretty much there, but it's just not the same without their bread, and it didn't quite hold up to that standard.
All it needed was the bread. Jay, can you get Earl Sandwich bread on Amazon?
Checking
right now. How about you, Mike? What did you do for Thanksgiving?
On Thanksgiving evening, I swung over to Harris, Nebraska, played a little Pressure Luck slots.
See, I think that's fantastic. I love Pressure Luck.
Are those new? Have you seen those anywhere before?
Nope, that was the first I'd seen them.
I had never seen those before.
Nope, I hadn't.
They were pretty cool, but they weren't exactly the same as the game, even when you got to the bonus, which I was hoping it would be the actual
No, did you actually sit there and say no whammies, no whammies, no whammies? Stop!
That was actually the biggest difference was when, and it was my wife playing, she did get to the bonus one time. The whammies were there, but they were like locked. And I think you wanted to get them unlocked because that was a good thing, which didn't make any sense to me. But she didn't get them unlocked, so I don't know what happens if you unlock them. But it was kind of fun to watch her play it.
Did you have any luck?
It was up and down, mostly. Well, it started off down. She did all right on the pressure luck, and then I had one pretty sizable hit on not Huff and Puff, but Rich Little Piggies, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Should have just left. It was up a couple hundred. They do have a craps table there, but it was closed. But they also had those stupid single player, which I played those once before, and I swore I would never play them again. But I wanted to play some craps. So I went over there, the single player craps, the little, it's not the bubble craps you all sit around and you press the button. It's bubble craps where everybody has their own little bubble. You can play it so fast, and you can lose money so fast. And I lost money so fast. I went 0.7, 0.7. I'm like, I'm going to play the don't pass. And then it hit the point. And then I played one more round, 0.7. And I'm never playing those again.
For the record, you could do that on a real craps table too.
Yeah, but not in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's possible. Well, I think the difference between those, and we've discussed this before.
There's no downtime between people betting
Exactly.
and paying out, and
Yep.
It's just bang, 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 bang.
Yep, agreed.
That was the Thanksgiving experience, but we kind of had a low-key Thanksgiving because we were kind of stopping over there at my mom's house, and then my mom and my family were on our way to Orlando, to Universal again.
Very nice.
So we went there that Saturday.
Before we get into that, I have an Earl of Sandwich bread update. It is a ciabatta bread, although one person thinks it's maybe a mixture of sourdough and French bread made in a ciabatta-like fashion.
I don't want copycat recipes. I want to buy the bread.
No, I'm not finding that to be an option. I do have copycat recipes, though.
I want a rogue franchise selling it out their back door on Amazon
Okay.
or eBay. Let's try eBay.
I did not. Please hold.
Just like I need a rogue Sonic to start selling that cheese sauce. We flew American, which hadn't been on anything but Southwest in quite a while. A little different experience. Not necessarily better. Can't really name anything that was better about it. In fact, we did something kind of interesting on the way out. Being the cheapskate that I am, I booked the cheapest possible points flight to preserve more points for a future flight. But that included, I think it was a 9-hour layover in Charlotte. We left Omaha at like 6 a.m. and the connecting flight to Orlando was like 5 p.m. But Charlotte is only an hour and a half from my wife's family. They came and picked us up from the airport, and we went to some sort of shopping center mall thing and killed some time. First time I'd ever left the airport at a layover. I was waiting for it to bite me in the ass somehow, and it didn't. The security line was kind of scary when we first got back. Once we navigated and figured out what was going on, it took 15-20 minutes to get through TSA pre-check. I don't know if we had gone through the normal line. It might have got a little hairy. Also ran into some traffic coming back, but we still had plenty of time. You know, people always say Southwest has some of the best legroom in the industry. I never really noticed that, or it didn't register with me until I got on these American flights, and they're freaking cramped.
I know that for you, that's one thing that is a big deal, just because you are a taller person to begin with. So legroom is a much more important aspect. I have the shortest legs possible per human. That's not a small person, and so legroom isn't as big of a deal for me. But if it was, how long was your flight from Omaha to Charlotte? 3 hours?
But I think it was about 2. And the second one was about an hour and a half.
Well, it sounds like it It sounds like it made you appreciate Southwest that much more.
I can very accurately measure the leg room because usually my knees are either touching, embedded, or not touching the seat, depending on how much leg room I have. Southwest, I usually have just a hair bit of space between my knees and the seat. The first flight, we were on a 737, and I was embedded in the seat in front of me. I always get the damn Karen that decides she needs to recline all the way back, which annoys the crap out of me. I know it's her seat and she can recline, but I never recline, even though I could, just because I hate doing that to other people. And that's a polarizing subject for another day. For you airplane nerds out there, the second flight was an A321, which is a stretched version of the A320. I'm sure you knew that, Geoff.
I did know that there was one difference between the A321 and the A320.
It's 1 foot.
It's 1 foot longer?
No. It was interesting because I could tell there was a huge difference in seat space.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, they have more seats in there because it's a longer jet, but they didn't cram them in there quite as tightly, I guess. It was much more comfortable. Boarding that flight, the overhead intercom didn't work, so they couldn't call out boarding groups. So that was, people always complain about Southwest's old boarding process. Obviously, they're changing it, but so that was everybody just basically, it was a free-for-all trying to get onto the plane at once because you couldn't hear what she was saying. And on top of that, her scanner wasn't working. So once you got there, you had to tell her your name, your last name and seat. And then she would type it in and verify it.
Oh my God.
So you can imagine how fast that went.
Yeah.
But, we got there. We weren't planning on doing anything that day. That was just a travel day.
So you got there Saturday evening, you said?
Right.
Did you stay in the normal hotel you stay at the park, or did you stay at a different one?
Yes. Royal Pacific. That's the sweet spot. It's always been that of the cheapest, really, I think the best location of the hotels that have the express pass. And it's usually the cheapest of the three also. So, Geoff, I think you texted me when I was on the way out there about what's Epic Universe.
Yeah, I did. I had seen a commercial for it on TV, and I was like, well, wait a minute. I was like, Mike's going. He's there right now. And he's never said anything about this. So tell me a little bit more about it.
They are building a third park there. It's opening May 22nd, I think. It's going to be huge compared to their other parks. It's not going to be included. Like if we were to renew, our pass will expire before that opens. But if we were to renew, that doesn't get us into that park. You still got to buy separate tickets for that, at least initially. So that's kind of a souring thing for me.
It sounds like it's supposed to be like an immersive type experience, right? There's like 5 different little
Well, that's every theme park, right? It's in the name theme park, Geoff. So one of them is Mario World or Super Nintendo World or something like that. One of them is How to Train Your Dragon.
Is there a Harry Potter one? Is there another Harry Potter one? Harry Potter? Yeah.
So the 2 parks right now have Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley, and this one will be Ministry of Magic, which actually that's what got my girls excited when they started talking about that. And now they do want to go, not for a year or 2. It's just going to be expensive and crazy.
Yeah, that would be my vote too. Let it settle in a little bit. Let it burn in.
There are going to be, I think the guide said 7 new roller coasters, but when counting roller coasters, some of them are like kiddie coasters and some of them are borderline whether they're actually a roller coaster or not. But there are going to be a couple big rides that we'll probably want to try at some point. I think one of them is a Donkey Kong themed coaster. They have a big model of it in City Walk between the two parks, like huge model of it. Looks pretty cool. It does. There'll be a big hotel. I think the guide said the plan is you'll actually, if you stay there, be able to just walk out, right? And you'll be at the gate to get into the park, right out of the hotel. Which, again, I'm sure that will be real cheap to stay there.
Right.
So let's see, on Monday, which would have been the third day we were there, we did something we hadn't done before. It's called a VIP tour. Just wanted to find something we hadn't tried. Wanted to see what the VIP tour was all about. We did the 8:31, which was the earliest. You show up. No need to get there early because they wouldn't let us. I figured, get there at 8:15, get checked in and all that. They didn't open the freaking doors until right at 8:30. That was the other thing about this trip. This is the coldest Orlando trip I have ever been on. I've been to Orlando, I don't know, 20 times now, at least. And I've been there plenty of January, Decembers, Februaries, and I know, it can get chilly at times, but I've always had 80 degrees, low 70s, high 60s at night. This was high about 68, 69 in the middle of the day and 40s in the morning.
Yeah, I was
So we got there at 8:30 and we're like, let us in the fucking building, please. But they wouldn't until 8:30. One lady's like, this doesn't feel very VIP. Which I loved. I love cranky old people because I am one. Did you have something to say, Jay?
No, keep going. I have an Earl of Sandwich bread update.
Oh, yes.
When you're done, but I'll save it till the end.
I have a long ways to go. We've already been interrupted.
I'll break in here quickly, and we can get back to your story with an Earl of Sandwich bread update. Checked eBay, nothing. I've called now while you were talking. I called 2 different Earl of Sandwiches. Neither of them were open. So I guess that's not much of an update.
So you broke in with an update that there is no update?
That is correct. More to come as soon as I get something back.
So you weren't talking like with your family or anything? You were calling Earl of Sandwich when you were on the phone there?
Yes, I called 2 different ones. I called one in Branson, Missouri, and one in Deadwood, South Dakota.
So both of them are Central Time Zone, and you thought like 11 p.m. you could call an Earl of Sandwich. And
according to their website, 10 p.m. is when they close.
Yeah, though, the thing about it is that you should have called the one at Planet Hollywood because that motherfucker never closes.
That's true. Why didn't you just call the Vegas one?
Please hold for further updates.
So what were you going to ask them
if they'd ship us some bread?
You're going to ask like the counter kid making minimum wage?
I mean, I don't know who else to call. I could not find a corporate number.
I didn't see you working this hard to find Sonic cheese.
I do. I like bread a lot. I am a big bread fan. I'm a carb fan.
You haven't even had Earl of Sandwich.
No, I haven't.
But you will like their bread, Jay. I have no doubts.
Yeah.
Look up Mr. Pickle, I think it is.
Mr. Pickle. Mr. Pickle's Sandwich Shop.
Jen, who has contributed to Strip Talking and Walking in the past, has been to the Phoenix area and had Mr. Pickle, and she highly recommends it because of the bread. It has some sort of special name also. I think you might be able to get that bread. I have not had it.
There are 6 Mr. Pickles in the Phoenix area.
What do they call the bread? Dutch oven or something? Maybe not Dutch oven.
That's probably something different.
I like how we make Jay look everything up when we could just pop open a browser.
Dutch Crunch Roll.
See, I know it's Dutch.
Yeah.
Dutch Crunch Roll.
You were pretty close.
Can you get that on Amazon? I think I almost bought that one time.
Yeah.
If Jen says it's good, it's usually good. So
Okay. I will look into this.
I think you should probably get some of that for the podcast.
I'll look into this as I await the callback from the messages I left at the two Earls of Sandwich. whenever they check their voicemail.
All right, call the Vegas one on the podcast.
Okay.
Because we know they'll answer.
Finish your story, and I'll get the number all queued up here.
All right. Where was I after that interruption for no update? VIP tour, sitting outside the cold, not very VIP. So we got in. We got a breakfast and lunch. That probably covers half the ticket cost right there. It was. I mean, it's not like Pop-Tarts or something. They take you. The breakfast was at one of the places in the park, and then the lunch was at one of the places at City Walk. First we had breakfast, then they took us, then we just basically broke up into smaller groups with our guides. There were 10 of us total, our group, and then 2 other groups. I was kind of honestly hoping it would be more of a tour. It says behind the scenes tour and skip the line on rides. Really, it was skip the line on rides, and occasionally the guide will throw in a few nuggets here and there about the park. It was mostly just a fast pass, a super, super duper fast pass, because it's not like you go into the express pass line. He takes you in top secret unlocked door things and drops you right next to get on a ride. You don't wait for anybody. It's still pretty badass because you ride not all the rides, but all the major rides, all the major roller coasters, all the other major rides. He skips some of the kiddie rides, I guess you'd call them, or the rides that don't really ever have a long line. And we skipped all the water rides because it was cold as fuck. And when you think about it, I think Disney has a new, they call it the Genie thing, which is basically you get one fast pass for every ride, something along those lines. I haven't been to Disney in a while. It's about the same price. So, and that just gets you into the regular fast pass line. It doesn't get you to the absolute front of the line. So in that respect, really the price on it, plus the meals, it's not that ridiculously priced. I mean, it's still expensive. It was a couple $100 per person. Honestly, I think the guide was a little disappointed that we were such veterans because, we didn't get to see the awe on our faces when we walked Harry Potter World or the excitement when we rode Velocicoaster or some of the bigger rides for the first time. We were like, yeah, been here, done that. I told him the best part for me was the one roller coaster that doesn't offer express pass, so we can never skip the line. If we want to ride that one, we always have to bite the bullet and wait at least an hour and a half, and it's probably the best ride in the park. Either park, it's either that or Velocicoaster. But that one, we got to ride skipping the line, so that was kind of exciting for us. The other notable thing, there was this. She was probably about our age, this mom, and I think your daughter was in her 20s. You could just kind of tell they're the kind of people that there's always drama around them. She didn't ride the Jimmy Fallon ride, or she did ride the Jimmy Fallon. I don't remember which it was, because she wanted to ride that other ride, and she was afraid she was going to get sick. And so she rode the other ride, and then we come up to the roller coaster, the first roller coaster, which was Rip Ride Rocket. Only my daughter and I were going to ride that one. My oldest daughter. My youngest doesn't like that roller coaster. So we get up and he brings us all in line. And then as we get into line, they line up with us so that I am with one of them and my daughter is with one of them. And the guide's like, no, you got to line up this way. And they're like, no, she needs to be in the front, unbeknownst to anybody, including us till this point. She rides in the front with my daughter. She gets off and makes a mad dash for the trash can. I know what's going to happen or is happening, and I just, I would probably start doing the same thing if I waited around and there's nothing I can do. So we go down a couple flights of stairs. We're not completely out of the exit, but that's where the guide's waiting to pick us up. And I'm like, that girl, she's not doing well. She's vomiting in that trash can up there. And he just kind of stands there and shoots the shit with us for a minute or two. And then from up above on the platform, all of the ride operators start yelling at him, like, you gotta get up here and get this girl out. She's still vomiting.
Nice.
It's not funny, but I mean, it's kind of funny. They took her to the first aid thing. She missed a couple of the rides. She reappeared after lunch, I believe, in a wheelchair.
Okay. Wow. I mean, that's not funny either, but
it's not. But
yeah, it is.
I mean, come on, it's motion sickness.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly being dramatic. That's what's funny.
Oh yeah, and then I don't remember where it was. I think it was just walking through a crowd of people, and her mom's pushing her, and there's people in front of her, looking other ways or don't see her, and she stops and she yells, "Excuse me," at them. not, they're not being rude or purposely blind. They just don't realize she's behind them. I think that you're starting to get a picture of what we're dealing with here. Yeah. It wasn't that bad, but now we've got to go up the wheelchair accessible places when we're going to all the rides. Or
did she keep going on rides though? She'd just jump out of the wheelchair and get on the ride?
So I didn't keep good tabs. I think she did do a couple and they got back in the wheelchair.
Nice. Classy.
And her mom did some by herself too.
Yep, might as well make everything about you, ma'am.
And then the only other thing I would like to cover about the trip, actual Universal trip, right before we had a late flight out, I think it was, the first flight was 4, so we did get a chance to go to Universal, which we usually don't. The day of our flight, we went to the park. And we hit the Hot Dog Hall of Fame for lunch before we left for our second time.
Classy.
I was wiser this time. I did not go for the specialty dog. I went for the a la carte 2 toppings. However, I still made a mistake. So I ordered the 2-foot-long dog. It was huge. Easily could have fed 2 of us. And she ordered the 2-foot-long dog too. So
Sweet.
We had way, and we're about to get on a plane. So I'm like, okay, I can't. I might have tried to finish it if we were getting on a plane. I only ate about half of it. It was really good though. I got just cheddar cheese and bacon. I think she got chili and cheddar cheese sauce. That's the way to go. I will do foot long next time, a la carte. I mean, you can add more toppings if you want.
How would you compare that to the $3.49 foot long at Casino Royale?
Price wise, it's way more expensive, but it's a better hot dog. I mean, the hot dog's thick. It's like the size of my big toe.
If only our 2 or 3 listeners could see you showing us how big that hot dog was, that would be.
That's why I said my big toe. Because this is a family show. I wasn't going to say my dick.
There's a foot-long joke in there somewhere.
It's a big solid bun. You can cut it up, and still it holds together. Even with all the cheese and shit on there, it stays in a hot dog, and the hot dog is big. It's legit.
I like the 2-foot hot dog idea.
We'll share it next time.
Yeah, sure. I feel like you don't cut it, though. I feel like you don't cut it in half. I feel like you deep throat that sumbitch from 1 in. Like, that's part of the draw.
At the very least, some photo ops, right?
Right, totally.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And I mean, you could Lady in the Tramp it, I guess, with a significant other, but
No.
No.
but why order the 2 foot if you're going to cut it in half?
It's a legit 2 foot. I mean, I think in your mind, you know what 2 feet is, but you're not 2 feet.
Yeah, no, agreed. Agreed.
This is actually 2 feet.
Not like Subway foot long foot.
Right.
Yeah.
It's substantial. Maybe your OnlyFans background would help you there.
Yeah. I like the big hot dog idea. Like when in Rome, I mean you're at the Hot Dog Hall of Fame. When in Rome, you might as well eat a German inspired dish. That doesn't make much sense, but I like it. Oh, Mike is showing a picture, which is podcast gold, but that does look delicious.
It does.
I mean, look at the table. It's as big as the table.
It does look good.
That's a 2 foot wide table.
Yeah.
Give or take. That's awesome.
I think we've been undervaluing that places in our visits. I think we need to start making that a tradition when we go.
Is the hot dog sausage like, or is it like cheap hot dog like?
No,
Texture.
it's hot dog.
Nice.
It's not like it's like a ballpark.
Yeah,
Not the brand, but like something you get at a ballpark.
gotcha.
It's not Fairberry, but it's not
Sure.
cheap.
But it's
Not
legit.
like a brat or anything. It's a hot dog.
Right, but a legit one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Very good.
I have the Planet Hollywood Earl of Sandwich on speed dial. I would like to inquire about purchasing their bread.
Call them. I want you do the talking, man.
Thank you for calling Earl of Sandwich. Press 1 for pickup or curbside. Press 2
not really.
for catering.
No,
Press 3 for all other calls.
I'm going to go 3 for all other calls.
We appreciate your patience. Please continue to stay on the line.
Well, this is podcast gold. Hope we're ringing through.
We'll edit this out.
Maybe a few rings at least.
We appreciate your patience. Please continue to stay on the line.
Okay, well, maybe we'll edit this back in later.
We appreciate your patience. Please continue to stay on the line.
We'll try again later. As I smack my microphone.
I don't see how you're going to get anywhere with a worker that
No.
just makes the sandwiches, unless you pay them enough to make it worth their time.
Right. But even if you walk in there, can you just walk out with the bread?
If you pay for it. If you buy a holiday turkey, hold everything but the bread, I'm sure they'll give you just the bread.
Also, I would agree with that. I think that's
Loophole.
But why would you do that? Because you're there and you could get the meat too.
It's true.
so much
It's
deliciousness.
true.
But, like, doesn't Runza ship
Yeah.
their Runzas now?
Frozen.
Yeah,
Yep.
you
So
can't.
why doesn't Earl of Sandwich get on board with that?
That's why I'd like to talk to him there.
Well, you
Like
gotta
to talk to
probably need to talk to somebody other than the sandwich artist.
I'd like to talk to Dylan at the front desk and see what he's all about.
Why is their name always Dylan?
Yeah, I don't know. But it is.
And honestly, at that Las Vegas one, they aren't the most personable.
Okay, well, we'll try back in a little bit. Wait a minute. I'm getting a call from Orlando, Florida. Hello.
Hi, we missed a call. Earl Sandwich, I can help you.
This is Earl of Sandwich?
Yes.
Yeah, I just
Sorry,
have...
the phone was, we couldn't find the phone, so we're just finding missed call right now.
Oh, no problem. I just had a super fast question. Do you ship your bread? Can I purchase your bread over the phone for shipping?
I can give you the name of the company where we get it from.
Oh, the company where you get it from.
To us too.
Oh, yes, please, if you have that handy.
So our bread is from the company Toronto is from Chicago. Let me find exactly the thing.
I think that's a city, not a company.
It's a company in Illinois. It's Turano.
Turano from Chicago, you said, or Illinois?
Yes.
Okay. I appreciate that. You've been very...
Chicago, but it's in Illinois. It's Berwyn, Illinois.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, I appreciate that. You've been very helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Wait, I thought you were calling the Las Vegas one.
I did. Well, I've called 3 of them now, but so yeah, that call was from Orlando, but that might just be where their call center is or whatever. So yeah, I should have asked which location she was calling from because I don't know. Okay, I am on the Toronto, I assume is how you say it, Toronto website.
Still think that's a city. I think she was just looking at a map and made something up. Yeah, we have a company. It's called New York. Okay, that was racist, wasn't it?
A little bit.
Just a hair.
Yes, it is. It is in the Chicago area. They have quite a few storefront locations. Okay, I'll dissect this website while we talk about other stuff.
What about the Dutch oven bread? Did you track that down?
Their website is actually super crappy, but it shows a picture of this bread.
Yeah, I don't think you can get it direct from them, but I think if you search for that Dutch crunch roll on Amazon, you might be able to get it, or some other website.
Right. Yeah, King Arthur makes a Dutch crunch roll.
Because it's a style.
AKA tiger bread. They just call it that because of how the crust looks. Kind of gets some stripes on it. That's the crunchy part of it.
All right. I do have a couple more stories coming back on American, believe it or not. My American stories are not done. You're done loudly adjusting your mic, Geoff?
Sorry, I was just trying to figure out if that was a racist comment.
What, American? Talking about the airline, not the person.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Let's see. Let me check my notes. Young family sits right in front of us and to the left. Absolutely zero parenting. They don't buckle the kid in during landing. He's in the aisle. That's not even safe.
No, it's not.
And the flight attendants, my wife claims they said something reprimanding them at some point. I didn't see it. It seemed like they were bending over backwards to show how cool they were with this family with kids, like, saying hi to the kids and giving them crayons or toys or whatever, or just, cute little waves, but would not say boo, like keep your fucking kids out of the aisle or buckle your kids in when we're landing or anything. I know I sound like a cranky old man, and that's what I am, but they had some sort of issue when they got on, so they were a little pissed off at the gate agent or somebody. They had a kid that was young enough that they didn't need a ticket, and apparently wasn't listed on the manifest, and so they weren't going to let him on at first or something. I don't know. They were grumbling, so I think maybe that played a part in it too. Why the staff was kind of trying to kiss their ass. They annoyed the shit out of me, that's for sure.
Were they people that would benefit from our Gen Z story time? Would they have to be in that age group?
How old can Gen Z be now?
32, 3.
Yeah, they were definitely 20s.
Okay, well, okay, that makes sense.
A couple more funnies. I thought they were funny. Guy on the last leg of our flight, which would have been Charlotte to Omaha, tried to self-upgrade to an exit row. which I read about all the time on my various flight blogs. Never actually seen it because, well, there's not really upgrades on Southwest flights. Flight attendant was all over that. Like, sir, is that your seat? he's like all sheepishly, no, I'm up there. But nobody was sitting. These exit rows cost extra. You're going to need to return to your seat. Then you have to do the walk of shame back to his seat. I thought that was kind of interesting too, because on the first flight, I thought they had to have people in the exit rows. Those exit rows were empty, but they had on the bigger jet, the A321, they had two different exit rows because they had an extra exit door. So maybe they didn't need people in both of them because they were completely empty the whole flight. And then the first flight coming back from Orlando to Charlotte, the guy, as we're boarding, comes up to the flight attendant and is like, I got a tight connection. He's an older guy that doesn't fly much. And it's like a 50-minute connection, which is not that tight at all. He's like, can I sit towards the front of the plane or something? He's basically trying to get an upgrade. And the flight attendant's like, sir, we're on time. We should get there in plenty of time. You'll be fine. They build extra time actually into the schedule. So if you say you're going to be there at whatever time, you'll actually probably be there a few minutes earlier than that. You'll probably have like an hour. And I'm totally agreeing with her. I'm like, just sit down, shut up. But the funny thing is, we were totally on time. We land and we sit on the tarmac waiting for a gate for a half an hour. At least. It's probably a little over half an hour. I don't know if he made his flight or not, but he probably did end up having to huff it, and he probably was cursing that flight up and down. We had talked several episodes ago about when they make the announcement or when people have connecting. We weren't that tight. We still had a couple hours, so we weren't sweating it. There were plenty of they made an announcement, there's quite a few people on this flight that have connecting flights. If you have a connecting flight, can you just get off or let the other people get off first, kind of deal. Of course, how do you know? Everybody just gets up and for some reason, my mom, who had gone with us, thought we had a tight flight or a tight connection. I thought she was just bullshitting so we could get off the flight a normal time, which is kind of what I was thinking. I'm like, I don't want to sit here anymore. Because we had discussed before, if I'm in that situation, I don't, I'm panicked, but I don't, it is what it is.
There's nothing to do about it.
I get off with my row. The flight attendant said, they're aware on those other flights that you're on this flight sitting on the tarmac. Now, whether they hold the flights, I don't know, but they are aware of it if you're flying another American flight. But we got off. I think a few people might have slipped in front of us. I wasn't as aggressive as blocking as I usually am, but we probably didn't let all of the connecting people off before we got off. I guess we're bad human beings. We're bad flyers, at least. I did think it was kind of funny and ironic, though, that guy basically jinxed himself by getting all worried about that. And that is by far the longest I have ever sat. And I've heard stories before of tarmac, busy airports sitting there. Usually it's waiting to take off, though, I think, rather than, I don't know why. They said something about the gates are controlled by some other agency or.
Well, that was going to be my question. Like, whose fault is it at that point? Is it the airports? Is it traffic control?
Well, I think there's a different entity that controls the gates even. Charlotte is a American hub, so you think they'd be kind of running the joint, if anybody would be. The captain came on and gave a few kind of half excuses a couple times, but I really wasn't paying much attention either. I would have probably if our connection was tighter, but we had plenty of time, so I wasn't sweating it.
But again, what are you going to do?
There's nothing you could do.
No, they're not going to let you go out there with those little flashlight things yourself.
Burning all that fuel for half an hour could not have been cheap either.
True. But it's a fair question for the flight attendant to ask. But those are not the deplaning rules. Without rules, we are just animals.
Some people did sit in their seats the whole time, and we were in the middle of the plane, and right as we were walking by, this lady says to her husband, "Well, I don't know. How we tell if they're have connections or not?" And she was looking at me. I felt like she was looking into my soul and knew that I was
She singled you out.
one of the ones that did. I mean, I did have a connection, and my mom thought we were in a hurry, so it actually worked out well because I didn't clue her in until after we got the plane. But American lived up to their reputation as being a shitty airline. So, but all things considered, we didn't. We got back to Omaha about half an hour late too. I always get stuck behind the Karen that wants to recline. One of the segments, this big burly guy with the, have you ever seen the extra seatbelt thing, like the extension seatbelt? Comes walking down the aisle, and I'm like, I bet he's sitting in front of me. He's sitting in front of me.
That's better than next to you.
To his credit, though, he did not recline. Only that Karen on that, I think it was the first flight, reclined. And yes, I know you're allowed to recline. That's why they recline. But
I never do.
When you're 6'4", it's literally inches away by the time it reclines. it just, it's like you're shoving the seat right into my face.
Yep, like a 2-foot-long hot dog. Shoving it in your face.
just shoving it down. Just
going down on that hot dog.
But enough about me. Geoff, you've got a Hall of Fame food induction. I do want to clarify last week's induction has been voided because while we agree that Memphis barbecue is Hall of Fame worthy, it wasn't nearly specific enough. If he had given us a restaurant or a dish at a restaurant, then we could have inducted Trey's Memphis barbecue dish. But inducting Memphis barbecue is just like inducting club sandwiches. It's very vague. We'll have him back on, and we'll get something more specific.
Okay, that sounds good.
This decision was not influenced by my preference for Kansas City style barbecue.
No, I made the decision, and I am not a barbecue connoisseur. I am a Hall of Fame connoisseur, and I do not like generic Hall of Fame inductions. Now, Geoff, what is your induction?
This specific dish has very much a Las Vegas flair. People have various opinions on Hell's Kitchen as a restaurant in and of itself, but this particular dish I think is 100% Hall of Fame worthy. It is the sticky toffee pudding, a dessert there from Gordon Ramsay's restaurant. It features a cake-like, man, it's actually a cake. Would you say it's a cake? It's definitely a cake.
There's nothing pudding about it.
No, there isn't, which I think that goes back to the roots of the actual dish. But it's a toffee, basically a toffee flavored cake with, is it caramel drizzled on it? It's got to be, or toffee, I don't know. But it's also,
I thought the topping was toffee.
well, it's toffee. It's probably toffee, and then it has, I believe, toffee flavored ice cream as well.
Jesus, you could have researched your dish before you.
I could have, but I don't care what all is in it. I just care what it tastes like, and that is like its deliciousness in one bite. It's not crazy sweet.
It's pretty sweet.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got a fair amount of sugar there, but I think it's fantastic.
Did you mention the ice cream?
Yeah, said it was like a toffee flavored ice cream.
Oh.
Are you even listening to what I'm saying?
100% I'm not listening to you.
Okay, fair enough. Most
of the time I just tune you out.
But anyway, this particular dish is one of the top 3 dishes that I think I've ever had, ever, dessert or otherwise. It's fantastic.
And this I'm going to give you props for, because this is how the Strip Talking Food Hall of Fame is supposed to work. Because there are lots of sticky toffee pudding dishes on various restaurant menus. but you have selected the Hell's Kitchen one, which is very specific.
Yeah.
Good job by you. And I have also had that dish many times, and I agree. It is very much Hall of Fame worthy.
Have you ever had this dish, Jay?
No, I have not, but I am a big Hell's Kitchen fan and wish to go there someday.
I thoroughly enjoyed the time when we went there. I know you've eaten there many times, Mike, but I've eaten there once. But I thought the food was good. Each course was good. It's a bit pricey, but it's Vegas. I mean, you're not going to find many 3-course meals for much cheaper at a restaurant like that.
There's no place else I'm going to eat beef Wellington and sticky toffee pudding because this is America. A little tip, though, you can actually get all of those dishes, including stiffy. I was going to say stiffy taki.
Stiffy.
Got OnlyFans on the brain.
Yeah. We should keep a list of things that would make good OnlyFans pages.
Stiffy taki toffee. I can't even. Now I'm saying stiffy taki pudding. It's late. You can get all of those dishes at almost all his restaurants in Vegas. I know, like what's the place in Caesars called? Is that the Pub and Grill?
Yes.
Same stuff there. I don't know. I haven't been to the fish and chips, but I imagine you can probably get it there. I don't know about the steak either. I think you can get the sticky toffee pudding. I don't know if you can get the beef Wellington or not.
I think you can. I think the new one in Harrah's, what is it? Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen. I think you can get it there too. But
I'm betting you can get the sticky toffee pudding at probably any of those places. And it's the same exact thing. But it's good. It's a must-have almost every time we go.
Well, I appreciate that you allowed me to induct that. And like you said, our apologies to Trey that we didn't give very specific parameters for his induction, which we'll get back.
You.
Yeah, pretty much me. I'll take that one.
All right. Let's get into Gen Z story time. Geoff, this was also a selection of yours.
Sure.
It's kind of a more recent for Gen Z story time compared to some of our 80s trips down memory lane. This one was 2007 to 9-ish, maybe?
No, I think it was earlier than that.
November 2005.
What we are referring to is the Guitar Hero game that kind of took on its
video games.
Yes, that kind of took on its own life, I guess you could say.
The second one came out November 7th, 2006.
For those of you that don't know, this Guitar Hero game basically took not live tracks, but actual studio tracks of popular songs and placed them in a video game setting where you used a guitar-shaped controller with different colored buttons where they would be on the fretboard of a guitar, and you watched the track actually play and listen to it, and then it had the buttons would show up in specific spots.
Nice.
Does Jay have it?
He does have the controller.
It is a Guitar Hero guitar.
That's a realistic one. Mine wasn't that realistic looking. I don't think mine actually had the realistic looking frets like that.
So this one, and it'll continue in the story here, is from Rock Band, which was more my style. I was more of a Rock Band guy.
Rock Band came out after Guitar Hero and added all the other instruments.
Yes.
Rock Band released in November 07.
But then Guitar Hero had Guitar Hero World Tour, and you could get the different instruments too. You could get the drum set, and you could hook a microphone to it. You could have the whole band basically playing and singing and whatnot.
Click that strumming thing into the microphone. This is what you would hear all day, every day.
That's it.
That's the sound of playing Guitar Hero, or somebody in your house playing Guitar Hero all day.
There's a South Park episode that I suggest everyone go find. For a little bit, they go unplugged, All you hear is that sound. Oh, it's hilarious. I'm not doing it justice explaining it, but it is worth looking up. Hilarious.
It made that Dragonforce Fire and Flame song a really famous song that nobody would have heard of otherwise. In fact, one of the guitarists on there has a YouTube channel now, and it's always popping up on my YouTube feed. Herman Lee, I think his name is.
Actually, did you ever see the movie Couples Retreat? Vince Vaughn's character, that's what he did, was he was a developer on Guitar Hero. And there's a big scene in there where they play the game.
And you say you played along to the studio tracks. The funny thing was, sometimes they had the rights to the studio tracks, sometimes they didn't. So they played like a cover version,
Yeah.
and those sucked. Those weren't nearly as good.
It got to be pretty big because I remember Metallica had a total just Metallica.
Well, yeah, as it got more popular, then they got more people to come on board with the real tracks, and they also always would have a bunch of bonus downloadable ones where you could pay to get more tracks. I remember paying for a few of those.
There were a lot of songs that I didn't even, and you said that specific one kind of gained fame and notoriety because of that game. There were a lot of others.
Yeah, but that's the most famous one to come out of that.
Sure. I would agree. But there were a lot of songs that I remember the songs, or I knew the songs, but I didn't remember that there was quite such an extensive guitar solo in those songs until you started playing that game. You're like, holy shit, this is hard.
As I've gotten back into playing the real guitar, I've started looking up some of those songs, and I've learned a few or plan on learning a few of them. It's definitely a blast from the past.
I remember that. I think it was one of the guitarists from Red Hot Chili Peppers, or maybe it was, I don't remember. It doesn't really matter. But they were laughing about these people that were trying to work so hard to become so good at Guitar Hero, and he was like, why don't you just pick up a real guitar and learn how to play the guitar? If you're gonna spend that much time getting good at it, why don't you just learn how to play the real thing?
And it doesn't translate at all.
No, not at all. Because when you're playing that game, you have that one little bar that you're trying to click, 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 click back and forth, and the buttons are just up and down. You're not actually on frets or strings or anything like that.
Yeah, Jay, you jamming again?
Jay is jamming.
See, the Rock Band one had the buttons up here too. They're the same buttons, but in case you had to go real high,
yeah,
it was all for show. All for show. It's still the same color buttons.
Nice.
But you could just,
Yeah, I had that giant, the earlier model with the white one, the Guitar Hero 2 one. Not nearly as cool.
I really want to play Rock Band again. It's so impossible to get instruments anymore. And I totally broke the drums because I rock so hard because I was always the drummer.
I could see that.
I have a Guitar Hero drum set still.
Really?
Yeah, the full set.
I filled that void by making a YouTube channel where I play actual guitar covers.
Okay.
Recliner Riffs, because I am an old dad rocker.
So you're not actually sitting in a recliner when you're playing?
As my daughter pointed out, no, I'm in an office chair, not a recliner. So thanks to her for correcting me, but Office Chair Riffs doesn't have quite the same ring.
No, it doesn't.
ReclinerRiffs.com. It's a niche thing, but I watch these things all the time. I think it's a lot probably more interesting for other guitar players. I like to watch the bad ones and the good ones, and mine are probably leaning towards the bad side. But what I really think is cool about it is the technology that's available today to do this shit. There's technology that'll let me plug my guitar into a computer and pick a guitar tone, and sound like Metallica or Tool or whoever. And then I can record that and mix it and do all that stuff kind of like a professional. I mean, I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing, but the tools borderline professional what I'm using. There's also tools where I can take any song and remove any instrument out of it. So I can remove a guitar track out of a Metallica or a Chevelle song and then record my own track right over it. And it's like I'm playing in the band. It's really so much more fun than, you got me started in guitar when we were in college. What was it? 20 years ago, Jay? 25?
We're not going to talk about how long ago it was.
Ish.
And that was fun, and I kind of got out of it for a lot of years. But, unless you were in a band, there's only so far you could progress, and it was only so fun you could play it's the riffs. You didn't really play through whole songs and learn all the parts, and it didn't make sense play all those parts if you didn't have all the other pieces of the band and the singing behind it. Well, now you can play along with all that. The other thing is you could do that back then, but you always had the actual guitar there, so it always sounded good. I always felt like, okay, that sounded all right, but really I'm just hearing Kirk Hammett or James Hetfield's guitar, so of course it sounds good. Well, now you can do that and you can play along, and if you fuck up, it sounds like shit. And when it sounds good, it's like, yeah, okay, that's kind of cool. I did that. It's kind of fun. They do it as much for me as for anybody else, but like I said, I think there's a community out there of guitar players that might find it kind of interesting. I would say the range is probably 90s to early 2000s type music, Godsmack, and of course there's going to be a little bit of Chevelle.
Looks a little Chevelle heavy at first glance.
I think there's as many Godsmack as Chevelle out there right now.
Okay, I approve of that.
I'd say as far as sounding the closest to the original or the best cover I've done is probably the Deftones one so far.
That's the one that started playing when I first opened it.
I made it the what they call it, the trailer one.
Right, it does sound real good.
Yeah, it is. It is good. And I've been fortunate enough to, and not on Recliner Riffs, but Mike's had me over a couple times to play along with him, and it's fun. It really is to hear yourself play along with those well-known tunes and songs, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
I can't be real serious about things a lot of the time. There are some stuff going on in the background of a few of the videos, maybe the foreground of a few of them that are, I think, kind of amusing. My daughters disagree sometimes, but my poodle does make an appearance in one of the episodes. So. And I promised my youngest daughter that I'm going to learn a Taylor Swift song. So look for that soon.
Does Geoff get to recommend one?
No, I've already picked it out.
Which one?
Okay.
Something about revenge.
You have to be more specific. It's every song of hers.
Yeah, that's every Taylor Swift song.
Well, Better Than Revenge.
Better Than Revenge. I think I'm familiar with it somewhat.
A little bit of a deep cut.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm the wrong guy to say. I have no idea.
It is. I wouldn't say it's one of her. I mean, it's not one of her ones that just comes right off the top of your head.
You can recliner riff that baby up.
Maybe I'll heavy it up a little bit too. Turn it into like some death metal.
Since she's an official sponsor of the show, I don't think she would care.
That's true.
Have we done Best Taylor Swift Song as a Points to Ponder?
No, we have not.
Yes, we did. That was like one of the first ones we did. Nobody could name one except Geoff.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I said take it off because not take it off.
Shake it off. Talk about OnlyFans.
I got to close this OnlyFans page.
Yeah. Let's get into some fresh points.
Yeah, there you go. Let's do Points to Ponder.
Do we have some? Trick question. Of course I have some.
I was like, wait, what? I thought you did have some Points to Ponder.
Let's do some Christmas-themed ones. 'Tis the season.
You two have nothing, like completely nothing, not even gave it a thought. Just want to verify.
I could come up with something.
Best bread.
Best Recliner Riff song.
Okay, let's do that. And I do have an opinion on that.
Okay.
Do you have the list, Geoff?
I don't have the list, but I don't need it because I've looked at the site and I know which one's my favorite. So,
including the one I just uploaded today.
No, I didn't see that one. What did you upload today?
It's Godsmack.
Which Godsmack song?
Bad Religion. Super easy to play. It's just open chords over and over.
Great song, though.
It is a good song.
It does rock, but it's not very difficult. It also features my new guitar.
My favorite is still the Deftones one.
Oh, it isn't. It's like a purple one.
Black Friday special.
Sorry, I was listening. What'd you say?
So Geoff's going Deftones. What do you got? You don't want to go Fall Out Boy, Geoff?
No, I do like the Fall Out Boy, but yeah, it's.
Let's just list them since there's only 6 of them. Okay. There's Fall Out Boy, Sugar We're Going Down, Deftones, My Own Summer, Chevelle, Point Number 1, Godsmack, I Stand Alone, Chevelle, Door to Door Cannibals, and Godsmack, Bad Religion.
I feel like I need a little more time to fully review, but on the on what I've listened to so far, Godsmack. I stand alone.
Wait, are we basing it on my playing of it or just the song itself?
No, I'm basing this on your playing.
Oh, I thought we were just doing like which is the best song, the original.
It'd probably still be my answer.
I'd say it's Door to Door Cannibals,
Okay. Going Chevelle. Love it.
of course.
Good.
My Own Summer's close though.
Yeah, that's still my favorite. So
It's a classic riff.
It is pretty good.
Surprised you didn't go Fall Out Boy though, Geoff.
you could always fall back on that, but no, I still like. I Know What Your Songs Did in the Dark.
Are you gonna sing it?
I'm not going to sing it. You've heard me sing it once. I got grief over that. I'm not
familiar with that song.
Not
Geoff.
singing it again. Not singing it again.
I can't hear it in my head.
Keep thinking on it. Centuries is a good song.
It's a good song, but it's not better.
Thanks for the Memories is good.
How's that go?
Not getting me to sing tonight. My voice is just not what it should
Come
be.
on, just sing it. Give the people what they want.
Give them what they want, huh?
Jay, you want to sing it?
No, I don't think I will.
Okay. Best Gatorade flavor.
Easy. Fierce strawberry.
What?
No.
Yep. Fierce strawberry.
Okay, it's good.
I don't think I've ever had it.
Have it.
Yeah,
It's the best.
it is pretty decent. It's not. I don't like it the best though. I like is it the ice cherry ice, whichever one is the white one.
The white one.
Yeah, I like that one too.
I had that during my colonoscopy prep. I don't know that I'll ever drink it
Yeah,
again.
that's fair. Totally fair. Mike is definitely disagreeing with both of us, so I'm curious what the right answer.
Totally wrong. Wrong.
Better not say lemon lime.
Don't say fruit punch.
It's the original. The whatever the yellow is.
Lemon
it's
lime.
called.
Lemon lime.
Lime.
Classic. Do you remember Gatorgum?
God, I don't remember that.
It was like an orange package, wasn't it?
Yeah, it might have been an orange pack. It tasted like lemon lime Gatorade though. Maybe that's why I like lemon lime Gatorade so much. But it is classic. You should see if you can get some Gatorgum on eBay or something.
Checking.
I imagine that's probably not tasting too good at this point, though, because I think they discontinued that in the 90s also.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be like the gum that used to be in the baseball card packs.
Yeah.
Which I'd still eat.
Gatorgum production ceased in 1989. Chewing gum does not technically expire, it only becomes more brittle. If we could find some, we could still try it. It doesn't technically expire.
So is there on eBay?
Still looking.
All right. Best Christmas movie.
I have to ask a question before I answer this.
There's no asking questions.
Okay. Because some people, one of my favorite Christmas movies, some people don't think it's a Christmas movie.
Die Hard.
It was just set at Christmas time.
There's no rules.
Okay.
You could sing Talladega Nights if you want.
No. Can I have a 1 and a 1A, or a 1A and a 1B?
Nope. That's not how this game works, except for me, because I can't choose between two.
I'm going with the Christmas Vacation.
You're probably on the same two I'm on.
Probably.
What's the other one? Elf?
No.
Elf's my other one.
Second one's Die Hard.
It's not a Christmas movie.
That's my question. It's set at Christmas time. Is it a Christmas movie? That's a debate. Jay, what you got?
Christmas Vacation is the correct answer.
I think it is probably too. But I like Elf quite a bit. It's a new classic.
Where are you going to think you're going to put a tree that big? Why don't you bend over and I'll show you?
Let's finish this up with Best Christmas Song. Maybe this is the one we did at one point. I can't remember.
I know we did this one because I said mine and you're like, what song is that?
Silent Night.
No, I did What Child Is This? And you're like, what song is that?
I'm familiar with the song. I don't think I would say what song is that. I just think it's a terrible pick.
Like you were indignant.
I am indignant. It's like you're not even trying. Jay, any thoughts? You still searching for bread?
No, I gave up on that. It's a dead end. I don't remember answering this question before, so if I did and I gave a different answer, I'm sorry. But I also don't like Christmas music.
I don't know why we would discuss it outside of Christmas time.
Exactly. We should go back and edit it out if we did. Mine is Silent Night, but played on the bagpipes.
That is specific.
That's terrible.
It's so good.
Jingle Bells, obviously, is the best Christmas song.
Why?
Because it's Jingle Bells.
We don't have to explain our points to ponder, I know, but...
And a close second is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's just classic. And that is the best Christmas show, by the way. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. The original.
The old claymation shit. Yeah, the old.
I'll agree with that.
All right, shall we wrap this baby up like my dad should have done 47 years ago?
Yeah, it is well into tomorrow. I have found, and I didn't think Riverside did this prior. I don't remember it before because I looked for it. But you can mute yourself and then press the spacebar when you want to talk to unmute temporarily, you know? Zoom does it. It's super handy.
It should be every software like this does it.
Yep, just hold the spacebar when you want to talk. Otherwise, you're always muted.
Spacebar doesn't mute it. Am I muted now?
No, you're not.
How does this technology work? It's just opening my chat and closing it.
Okay, well, I'll show you. I'll show you some other time.
Is this how Geoff feels?
Okay. Anyway. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy our podcast, please consider subscribing. You can find us on all major social media outlets at Stripwalking or by visiting us at stripwalking.com, of course. Don't forget to check out Mike's new site at reclinerriffs.com. Thank you all again for listening, and may all your 7 show on the come out roll.
What are the 2 ways to spell Geoff, sir?
It's the short way with a J and the stupid way with a G.
I'm a lover of all music.